This statement, released by Downing Street at 9 o'clock today, is the first indication by the Coalition that it is prepared to tackle the most intractable problem it has been facing at its roots. Attempt to improve the National Health Service with top-down reorganisation has not resulted in a reduction of the spiralling costs, with many trusts in serious financial trouble. Despite these problems, the NHS still provides a good level of care, and the public do still largely have confidence that they will be well cared for. The following actions are designed to reduce the flow of patients suffering from food-related disease, thereby reducing the pressure on doctors and nurses who have to deal with the consequence of industrialised nutrition. And here is a statement. Your government is becoming increasingly concerned and feels compelled to urgently take steps to improve the health of the nation. Our plans include immediate action to prompt a fundamental change in direction, followed by a rollout of reforms over the next few years. The goal is to radically reorientate the food system, widely held to be the driver of the mountain tide of chronic disease. It is clear that the current pressures on the health service have most of their origins in food-related illness. We will be looking towards the long-term eradication of many of the chronic health problems facing us today. Change will now gradually deliver improved health for all, and in 4 generations, much of our current nutrition-related disease will be a thing of the past. You may ask, what has changed in government recently for us to embark on a radical road of disease prevention rather than the exclusive focus on research for cures that has prevailed up until now? The catalyst has been the recent acceptance of the danger of sugar and the notion that a sugar tax could be a realistic possibility. This has prompted careful consideration of the latest science regarding the causes of disease and the decision to start to take action against food that kills. Many of the experts have been warning of the dangers for some considerable time, several decades in fact, and I'm afraid that we, the government, have not been listening or understanding the message. However, we do have in place 2 pieces of legislation that will help support change. These are the Health and Social Care Act 2012, which includes a far greater emphasis on prevention, and the Localizing Act. As you know, and we have continually said, we do not seek to build a nanny state, and this still remains our position. However, we recognise it is time to outlaw certain groups of food ingredients that are implicated in food disease. We can no longer stand by and see our people herded into the food disease treadmill. We will be taking several steps immediately under the Health and Social Care Act 2012. The first will be an outright ban on our national dish, fish and chips, being cooked in oil. Any kind of oil is altered at high temperature to a substance that the body does not have the mechanisms to excrete. You will still be able to have fish and chips, but they will be cooked in lard or dripping, as in the old days. This will extend to all food outlets using oils for high-temperature cooking. The second will be an outright ban on all margarine and manufactured spreads of this type. Natural butter is widely available, and for vegetarians, coconut oil is in the shops. Major health benefits will also soon flow from these actions. As a bonus, these actions will also take the pressure off rainforests and the wildlife that inhabit them, and should be welcomed by all concerned with protecting our world. These are not the actions of a nanny state. We simply seek to have our people eating healthy and nutritious food. These bans will be accompanied by an education process that will be provided by a team of nutritionists and nutritional doctors drawn mainly from outside the NHS, but will include enlightened professors and researchers with nutritional expertise. We will also be inviting doctors to participate in retraining, putting disease prevention at the forefront of the agenda. We will encourage more universities to emulate Surrey University with its doctorate in nutritional medicine. These actions will be implemented as soon as possible, but will take time. We will report back next year on progress. But is it our intention to have at least 3 more degree courses up and running by the end of the first year? It is the intention of your government to establish a new speciality of nutritional medicine within the Natural Health Service and staffed by new and retained doctors of nutrition. It will also be our aim within the next year to ensure all biscuits, cakes and other products that use oil or margarine to be made with butter. Alongside these measures, there will be a fundamental review of labelling to ensure it really is clear what is included in the product. It is of course the government's long-term aim to remove all harmful substances, so labels will increasingly lose their importance as the number of harmful ingredients decreases. There will no doubt be further changes required, and as soon as we become aware of other products that need to be changed, we will take action. Sugar will probably be more difficult to deal with than oil and fat, but where natural and unrefined sweetener can be used, we will seek to ensure this happens. Honey will be a good substitute. Practically all fizzy drinks are extremely harmful as they contain far too much sugar or sugar substitute. We will promote the development of new recipes that do not contain sugar or substitutes. There will be a 6-month period for change before a ban comes in. The Localism Act will be used to support local food in season. We will be looking at measures within the taxation system to encourage local production. It is the government's view that the farming sector has largely turned into producers of commodities and, at this industrial level, is damaging to the countryside and to farmers themselves, who now just represent 0.75% of the workforce. They have an average age of 58. This does not bode well for the next generation. It is our intention to encourage more local small dairy producers selling raw milk with local delivery rounds. We foresee herds of up to 100 cows fed and kept in a more traditional manner. This will increase the connection to local people and will build up fertility in the soil using straw-based bedding in a mixed farming system. This new system will largely do away with the slurry that can pose many pollution dangers to rivers and streams, either from spreading during rainy periods or larger spills which regularly occur. Clearly, there will be a need for hygiene inspections by the local authority, but red tape of all kinds will be cut as far as practical to ensure the smooth transition to this new regime. It will also be necessary to reduce the sale of milk in supermarkets as delivery services start to spread. The resulting reduction in food miles is an additional benefit of this approach. The farmer needs to make a profit so he can create employment. There will be no VAT on fuel and vehicles used for delivery, and cooperating farmers will find special grants available for supply to larger towns. If deliveries can be made by horse and cart, there will be a tax and national health contribution breaks. This programme is not yet comprehensive, and we are prepared to use any fiscal measures to deliver the vision. We would welcome comments from interested parties who may put forward ideas for the delivery of this change. It is the intention of the government that this new dairy system will help support younger farmers to get into farming and will encourage older farmers with experience to pass it on. We will be looking at land values and will welcome ideas on the issue of more affordable land. We will also be encouraging local millers and bakers. Milling can take many forms, from more modern systems to wind or water-powered mills. These opportunities will create many skilled local jobs, and cooperation will be encouraged. It is the government's intention to have a baker in every village able to earn a decent living from providing fresh local bread, free from the harmful ingredients that enable bread to be produced by huge machines. Towns and cities will definitely need cooperation by bakers and the supply chain. the government will be supporting ideas to ensure continuity of supply. Your government believes that we need more local abattoirs and no animal should travel more than 25 miles to be slaughtered. We will also encourage on-farm slaughtering with a simpler regime lacking in red tape. Local authority environmental health departments will be subsidised where necessary to help farmers supply good, healthy food direct to consumers. There will probably have to be disbenefits for the industrial producers, but these will be phased in as local farms come on stream. Any local production not specifically mentioned will come under the general umbrella of the Localizing Act and will also be eligible for assistance. We will be setting up a DEFRA department tasked with the implementation of the Grand Plan for a Healthier Nation Through Food. Through it, local food producers will be supported and enabled by the removal of existing red tape and the establishment of a safe and workable regime. DEFRA will be guided in this by farmers and producers already supplying food direct to customers. They are the people who already know how to do it. Please put forward your views if you are one of these producers. Your input is vital. You may ask where the money is coming from for these reforms. Your government believes that this investment in people is so important that it is prepared to invest the funds necessary to start the process. But as the health of the nation improves, money will be freed up from the health sector. At present, £19 billion are spent every year on diabetes alone, and this is entirely due to the food we eat. So the measures already proposed will soon have an impact. And as the incidence of chronic disease declines, money will be released and move across to support good nutrition and disease prevention. The new NHS Department of Nutritional Medicine will be taking over the treatment of diabetes, and so spending on drugs will start to fall immediately. We have been successful in recent years in reducing tobacco smoking and therefore lung cancer. To quote Sir Richard Doll, who researched the causes of lung cancer, almost all cancers not caused by cigarette smoking are caused by food. He said this several decades ago and was one of the many people successive governments did not listen to. So we are truly remorseful for putting so many people through food-related disease by our inaction. These new policies indicate a more people-centred approach to food, public health and medicine. We are finally taking a leaf out of Hippocrates' book in our determination to help our nation. Let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. That is the end of what surely will prove to be the most far-reaching and well-thought-out statement on health ever to come from the people in charge in the Mother of Parliaments. At last, recognition of cause and effect, backed up by policies designed to deal with these causes. I hope to see an avalanche of feedback from listeners on this. It has to be the biggest vote winner ever conceived, especially so close to an election. It will, in my view, secure the continuation of the present system of government. To some this may seem an extreme view, but in my opinion it is a realistic one. That is the end of the news. Newsflash direct from Downing Street. It is the government's intention to introduce a second new department into the NHS, the Department of Integrative Oncology. As with the Department of Nutritional Medicine, innovators will be drawn from outside the NHS, but also oncologists within the NHS who already understand the importance of the many facets of healthcare required to provide the very best outcome for the patients. There will be a retraining programme for oncologists, much the same as for nutritional doctors. It is the government's position that the new department will not only be responsible for an integrative approach to treating cancer for better outcomes, but also for a massive prevention campaign following the changes to the food system already announced. Well, here we have a second major change in the health system that points to the fact that the government really is serious and committed to a rapid change for the health of our nation, and I'm sure we will all welcome these new policies with open arms. That is the end of this newsflash.